much more difficult to play because sometimes I think it's silly or it doesn't come naturally. And so, are there ways that to encourage that playfulness in people, regardless of the stage of life they are? Like, what are some things or some ways or some practices that you can use to kind of bring that out of people?
That's a great question. I think that one of the things if we're looking at the hard science versus the soft science, what we talked about earlier in the hard science, you know that when the chemicals are being released in the body from whatever you enjoy. Obviously the play was in a variety of different ways and folks were doing that different things. But you see that there was a sensation, a sensory input that was starting. Maybe with even the hoop around the body or just the movement of the body or a little girl that's running through the water and the sensation of the water falling on. So there's all kinds of different sensations. So really it just becomes trial and error. Find what you like. Just try something and how does it feel, what is it like, and what will release those chemicals to enjoy. The soft sciences, Dr. J. David Hawkins and Richard Catalano at the University of Washington, in their social bonding theory, they talk about three elements I think that are really important for us to consider when we look at informally doing that. Opportunity for significant involvement. So obviously when you're having the opportunity to play, that's important. If you don't have that opportunity, it's hard to be free to do so. But the thing, said something about that was really important. The skills to be successful in that opportunity provided. So, and I don't think we often think about that in terms of skills for play. That we just assume that everybody knows how to play, and sometimes we do it. We're playing, especially solo play, we just create things and do it feels good. But often when we're in with somebody else, and as we talked about, in the presence of another human being, that's where a threat might be. And so the skills to be successful when playing with somebody else might be interesting to help folks try to see it, and even to that dependent transfer skills and kind of play alongside of you to kind of show you, yes, it's okay to do this. This might not be as helpful to do that. So doing it alongside is an opportunity for them to be involved in some of the skills that to be guided along with that. And I think that's the joy of, at least for me, parenting and teaching my kids how to play in ways. But Yvonne, maybe more to your point, is with my younger son, we used to do something for him because he liked to change the rules all the time. We used to get frustrated, like, well, you only change them so you can win. But we thought, well, that's helpful to some degree because he's learning that play can be changed by how people expect things and how things are being done, and realize that he was getting some joy out of being able to change the expectations and the rules of the game. So there's lots of different parameters that we can enjoy and play. So I hope that we see the human variation in all this. So very many ways to explore how those feel-good chemicals can be released through movement, through play, through different sensations. And I think we can learn a lot as well from just watching other people play. Just saying, well, what is it that they enjoy? What brings a smile? Remember when the dog, when you're saying, it's kind of scratch for a little bit and then move your hand and see what happens? Wouldn't that be a great thing if we could just do with ourselves and just watch people play and see how they respond? What do you enjoy? I'm not asking you to scratch somebody's back or anything. Just suggesting that if you really could just observe what do they enjoy and how do I help repeat that for them? So hopefully that's helpful for you. Any other thoughts, questions, comments? Well, I realize that additional questions might stand in the way of you in the parking lot, so I want to make sure that I limit that. But I didn't know if we had any comments online. Carol, Alan, are there anything that anybody was addressing online that we were aware of?
Julie and Molly had buffering issues.
Oh, okay.
They just need to know that we're going to make the video available for a limited amount of time later.
Yes, the video will be made available. I do believe, if I'm not correct, I can check with KPJR, but I think they give us access to do that with the 30 days along with all the other videos from the conference. So anybody who's enrolled in the conference can have access to all the videos, including that one, for an additional 30 days. But please have them email me, Tom, if there's any question. If something goes wrong with that, folks can always email me, and we can make sure you get a link to that video to enjoy that documentary. Yes, Sam?
A number of summers ago, it was really, really hot, and I thought to myself, I have a problem to solve here. I hate being out in the heat. And so one of the things they suggested for fun. So it doesn't have to be something, you don't have to hula hoop in public.
Sure.
If you want to do that. But I also knew, I said, okay, it's really, really hot and I need to stand inside. There's a problem to solve, and I thought, I have always seriously had trouble putting 2 shoes in a box. I am spatially challenged. What could I do to improve this? And I took up jigsaw puzzling. And at first I hated it. It was so taxing mentally to do it. But it's probably been 8, 10 years, and now I'm not an addict, but I do enjoy it a lot, and I can feel that I am solving problems and I'm getting better. So, it can be just, I get a great deal of joy out of just solving problems with my brain that way. So, Sudoku, that can be anything that challenges crossword puzzles. Those are play, although we may not think about it that way.
Yeah, and exploring what play is, there are so many, think about it, 11 million sensory and receptors in our bodies, and they're firing all the time. So that's a lot of options that we have to enjoy and to see what works with us. So, and I think that's the beauty of resilience. It comes with the diversity of human experiences. For one person, it would be very challenging. I know for me, to hula hoop, that would probably produce more threats than safety. And for others, just the opposite. But I can choose from 11 million other things in that second to try to find something that really works for me and that brings me joy. So hopefully you can continue to experiment with that. Did we have a question?
Yeah, so yes. Would all the material as well, like Tony McGuire's pamphlet, information, all of that be available to all of us as well?
Yes, those of you folks here, be sure to email me so you can make sure we can give you access to some of those things. Those online, they've already have that through the platform. But if you'd like access to the material on that platform, we'll make sure that we get you what you need. So, yes, sir.
The neuroscientist's name, Jack Panksepp. Panksepp.
Alan, you want to say that in the mic there with Jesse so those online can hear that as well?
Sure. Jack, Jaak, Panksepp, Panksepp.
Outstanding. So I hope the rest of you stay engaged with KPPR. I don't know what their production schedule is, but I love the documentaries that come out. I think they're thought-provoking to really help us to see that, again, they're trying to solve society's hidden problems. We don't think about play and what happens to folks who stop and how do we get them to start playing again. So if nothing else, I hope we walk out of here being able to understand the benefits of play. Understanding that it does change the physiology and the structure of the brain can be changed just through play. Just to be able to experience things in a different way.
Thoughts? I know we got some other folks. Alan, I think I just lost my battery from up here, but I'll try to be as vocal as I can so it can be picked up by anybody that's tuning in. Yes.
Do you know if the developmental play history that he mentioned is something that we could find online?
And I don't know if it's, I believe it's public domain, but you may have to purchase it because I know I was able to get that through my wife's paid site. Probably shouldn't say that over the air, but yes, that it is available, but I don't know if it's for purchase or not. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, let me try that one. Any other questions, thoughts, comments? Yes.
activities, does his cortisol level, can he eliminate the cortisol level, or is it just something that gets reduced and then just kind of goes back to your threshold?
Yeah, no, good question. My understanding
would be if you look at that in terms of our body is releasing cortisol and adrenaline because of that threat somewhere. And if we are not perceiving the threat and it's not releasing any additional cortisol, then obviously the other chemicals are going to be into the body and counteract that response. So it really becomes the amount of different chemicals, the biochemical reactions that are happening in our body. So the more play that we have, the more times we participate in play that releases those feel-good hormones, it certainly is going to then outweigh and counterbalance any cortisol and adrenaline. I think it can get to a point where obviously we will have cortisol and adrenaline released if another threat comes, but in the midst of play, I think that we're benefiting from the release of that positive biochemical response. So anytime you have more of some of the positive things, it is going to counterbalance the negative we have. But it does matter how much negative you've had, how much cortisol and adrenaline you have flowing through your body, to how much time you might spend in play for it to have a beneficial role. Thanks for the question. Any other thoughts? Well, I appreciate it. For some of you, probably most of you, will see you back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for those of you who are out there and around. So look forward to that, and please be well and drive safe on your way home. Take care.
Why do you think he's died so quickly?
I'm not sure that it did die.
I could hear it doing something in my ear that went off. Or maybe it's because I didn't have the other one. Maybe I hadn't had them both there.
Could be because I didn't even think to connect until you said I think I connected right when you said something. I was looking at what this was picking up, not what those.
Maybe that's what it is. Okay.
Only the sixth mistake I made today.
That's a pretty good.